everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be recapping an episode of Mythbusters that I actually had the opportunity to write and direct, so I'm really excited to share a recap of what it is about. For those of you who don't follow my channel, I want to give a little background on myself that can help explain why I directed the episode the way I did. My name is Vicky and I'm a Chinese American living in Arcadia. Though I'm part of a minority group in the United States, I grew up in a town where Asians were the majority. And as a kid, and even now, I binge watched many different TV shows, and I can honestly say that that's where I learned about other cultures and other minorities, though I did have to keep in mind that some of them were stereotypes. I didn't really get a chance to interact with many diverse people until I got to Berkeley, and this inspired me to think about what other people thought about people in Berkeley, and that's why I made this Mythbusters episode where I sent out Google Forms to non-Berkeley people to ask them about their opinion of people in Berkeley, and I sent Google Forms to people who are in Berkeley about their experience and matched them to see what are myths and what are truths. I got 21 responses, and I wanted to highlight 3 myths that I covered in the episode in this recap video. But before I jump into those specific examples, I wanted to highlight the main takeaways from the responses I received in my Google Forms. Many people thought of Berkeley as a place with liberals, with hippies, with people who love outdoors, and as a place rich with LGBTQ pride. At UC Berkeley specifically, the perceptions we see about students are that they're mostly Asian and that there's a heavy Greek life. When asked where they get this information from, the popular Facebook group UC Berkeley Memes for Edgy Teens was mentioned several times in the forum. So that's just a little bit of a background into the behind the scenes of why I directed the episode, but let's go into the recap of the myths. The first myth I wanted to highlight was that because UC Berkeley is a top university and there's a heavy presence of Asians, my non-Berkeley respondents automatically correlated that grouping to be a model minority, great Asian students, smart, who get good grades. One of my Berkeley respondents spoke of how that myth affected his acting career, where he could only play and get roles that were fitting of the model minority. He played Kenny, the quiet, well-dressed Asian boy with glasses in the YouTube TV show Synodopes. So in reality, of course, Berkeley is full of different Asians who are extremely different from the model minority. Just one example is take the concept of ABGs. ABGs is a popular term used amongst UC Berkeley students to identify Asian baby girls. The name was given more as a joke, but this meme taken from the Facebook page shows the starter pack of Asians who like to go out partying all night, likes to wear falsies and heavy makeup, dyeing their hair blonde or silver, and nothing like the traditional stereotypical model minority Asian. And this is just one example of many different personalities of Asians in Berkeley who don't fit the model minority, and thus the myth is busted. Next, I wanted to focus on the female experience portion of the episode. Though the stats show majority female presence in UC Berkeley, and there's this idea of post-feminism theory that women can have it all, I set to see if I could debunk this myth, and it was extremely easy to do so, especially when we look at women in business. Already in the industry, we see more John CEOs than we see female CEOs, but in Berkeley, as someone who is part of the business community, I wanted to highlight in the episode the struggles females have at Berkeley to be culturally accepted into professions like software engineering, tech, finance, or banking, where the culture is heavily male. And in some cases, my friends have felt pressured into learning sports just to prepare for their interviews and just to fit in. The number of women in the industry compared to men are also strikingly different, and some students at Berkeley brush this off, saying that it's easier for a woman to get a job because of her gender, but it still remains that there are not enough. So thus, the myth of women can have it all is busted. Finally, I wanted to tell y'all about a moment in the episode where I couldn't concretely debunk a myth. In the show, the myth was identified similar to the idea of the slumby class, where respondents viewed LGBTQ community through the lens of TV and social media more than they interacted with personally with them. Though we live in the Bay Area, which is rooted in LGBT pride, in Berkeley, the stats show low percentage of identified LGBTQ people. Due to the Google form responses, I've identified a younger slumby class at UC Berkeley, where my UC Berkeley respondents admitted that though they do consider themselves open-minded, they know of LGBTQ peers, not many of them have close friends that identify as LGBTQ. So their only exposure to these groups is from the TV shows like Queer Eye, and this also made them view LGBTQ people as friendlier, fashionable, and good-looking. Though we know that that's not all LGBTQ people, and not all of them fit that description. No one in my response forms nor I could think of anyone personally who could bust this myth in the episode, which is extremely unfortunate. But I'm sure next time, with more responses and more time, we could explore this myth further. So make sure to tune in next Monday for details on that.